Okay, so this is the part where your brain sort of gets rewired, and why I don't think I will ever be the same, why I will never think the same, why I won't act the same around other people, and for better or for worse. In order for all this to make sense, we have to go 18 months in the past when I moved to the south of France. Before we left, I was a pretty shy, socially anxious kid, and yeah, I wanted to change that when I moved to France. So I decided to start a YouTube channel. Basically, the plan is to get less camera shy and just stop caring about what people think. Probably the last thing I would have expected doing, considering how introverted of a person I was. But the thing that I think separated me from others is that I was almost hysterically optimistic that I would have some sort of viral success or fame if I just kept on going. And I think if I didn't have that crazy belief, I definitely would not be here making this video today. And so I moved back home to America. Might have been 8 or 9 months after I created my channel at that point, and I remember just hitting 2,000 subscribers. That's when things went crazy. When you go viral on YouTube and you get the success that you've been dreaming about for so long, the endorphin rush is absolutely insane. And it feels so crazy because it's combining 3 things, right? You're getting social recognition online, which feels good to get views and comments. You're also getting it from your friends and family who are like, oh my god, Max is getting a lot of views, Max is getting subscribers. But also monetary wise, now you're probably bringing in a ton of money. And so when you combine the social and monetary and your dreams coming true, it's just like this crazy combination or smoothie of golden elixir that you're drinking, and you're just like, oh my god, I feel like I'm on the moon. And that's when you start to get addicted and sucked into the algorithm and the game of YouTube. So yeah, that covers sort of part 1 and part 2 of what it feels like. Part 1 is the beginning, when you have no idea if you're gonna make it or not, and that's when you're putting in the hardest hours. That's when it's the most awkward or cringe to look back on, because those are your sort of worst videos, and that's when you're learning and stumbling. And yeah, it's the part where most people end up giving up and quitting and stopping making videos because it's hard. YouTube is not easy. There's no perfect way to make videos that will do well. But if you're one of the lucky people who've broken out of phase 1, well, actually I wouldn't say lucky. If you're one of the lucky and hardworking people that make it out of phase 1 into phase 2, which I called the dopamine high, your life will never be the same, which I didn't realize, but here's why. So now, on a day-to-day basis, I can't stop thinking about YouTube or things related to YouTube. Any experience or activity or thing I'm doing, I'm thinking about, oh, how can I turn that into a video? How can I make that video interesting? What story can I tell here? And no matter what I'm doing, it somehow gets tied back or related to YouTube, which leads into one of my first downsides, sort of the emotional roller coaster you go through. If a video performs really well, you're drinking that sweet elixir and you're getting an incredible high. But if a video doesn't, you feel pretty awful, and it just doesn't feel good. It affects my mood, how I'm feeling, my confidence, and creating and publishing videos sort of puts you on this roller coaster. Before I started my channel, there'd be sort of good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, but now it's really good and not that great. Really good, not that great. And I think it's chasing that high that has not ruined my social scene or social situation, but I find that I almost can't enjoy hanging out with friends sometimes. I can't enjoy hanging out with my family, or I don't want to go out and have fun because I feel this pressure or this sort of opportunity almost to achieve that high, achieve this success, because I know it's possible now. I've tasted it, I know it's out there, and now anything else that I'm doing that's not productive or not taking me, to that high or to that experience or place feels like a waste of time, which is pretty awful, especially when you're only 17. You want to be able to enjoy life and to enjoy hanging out with your family and friends and not always think about YouTube and business. But that's something I've honestly really struggled with because, again, I sort of got addicted and hooked to all of this. So over the past couple of weeks, I've been really thinking about this concept and idea of being in phase 1 versus breaking out of that into phase 2, and what the factors or contributing, variables are to someone breaking out of it or not breaking out of phase 1. And yeah, this really fascinated or intrigued me, so I decided to reach out to 2 of my YouTube friends, one with 300 subscribers and another with 300,000. And the thing is, they're both very, very talented filmmakers, but they're on opposite spectrums of the whole YouTube game fame or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I really wanted to get their perspective and insight into why they think they've broken out of it, or maybe why they haven't yet. So the first person I reached out to was Vanzi, who is a very talented editor who's currently working with Adobe, which is awesome. So we recently met online, and he only has 300 subscribers, but when I first watched his videos, I was blown away because the storytelling and the videos are incredible. And well, first off, I was really confused why he hasn't blown up yet and why he doesn't even have 300 subscribers. And then second off, I wanted to hear why he thought he hasn't blown up yet and why he hasn't gotten the attention I believe he deserves. And yeah, this is what he had to say about that. So I guess I'm wondering, what do you think the largest factor is why you're still in phase 1 and why you haven't broken out into phase 2 yet? Because I think your videos are incredible, and even I don't know why, so I'm wondering what you think about that.
I think hard work is really what happens. I think luck it exists to a certain very small percentage, but so many people, you know, they'll see with YouTubers, successful YouTubers or successful people in any area of fields, and they'll go, you know, that they're just lucky. And that always kind of annoys me a bit, because it's just like, it's not true. What they are is they're relentless hard workers, and they've, after a certain period, there's an opportunity which has come to them, and then they've just taken that opportunity. Like, and I haven't had any success on YouTube yet, but the hard work and the endless hours I put in the last year have got paid off in the last 4 months, because I've had opportunities present itself where I've managed to kind of further myself and start earning actual money. That comes back to, like, I haven't been successful or had a viral video on YouTube yet. I'm still a very small creator, but whenever I've worked hard at something, it's always come back to me a bit like karma, in a good way.
Looking back, I was like, it's gonna happen no matter what. It's just like when. Like, it was so concrete that it would happen that I just wouldn't accept anything else.
That is literally the same with me, and it hasn't happened yet, but I still have a belief, and some people may believe it's delusion, including my parents often, but I genuinely believe it will happen. And I think I almost kind of have a mindset that, like, I'm not even thinking about, like, failure is not an option, which sounds quite extreme, but for me, like, it's going to happen. There'll be periods, what I do anyway, have periods of self-doubt, but for the most part, I truly believe I can do this. And I think what separates successful people who actually go on to achieve it are those people who have an unrivaled belief in themselves that they can do it.
The second person I interviewed or had a conversation with was Natalie Lynn, who you guys probably already know. She is incredibly talented, and her videos are very inspiring to me, and someone I actually looked up to before I even started my own YouTube channel. She really inspired me to, you know, get out there and start making videos. So this whole thing is crazy for me to even wrap my mind around. But yeah, this is what her perspective and sort of insight was on this situation or topic. If you could attribute your sort of success or ability to create a community and an audience on YouTube, if you could boil all that down to one singular factor, what do you think that would be or was?
Probably just personally for me, I'm not gonna say, like, I don't know if this is like good advice, because it's just honestly what's personally worked for me, is doing stuff that's true to myself, as cheesy as that sounds. Just creating genuine good content and having, like, the right intent behind why you're creating. If you're constantly making things just because you know they're gonna do well and you want to play the game the algorithm wants you to play, people are gonna be able to see right through that, and they're gonna see that it's not coming out of the right place or whatever. I mean, it's hard to find the balance between the two, because you obviously, if you're making something that is true to yourself and you want people to see it, so it's hard to find the balance between, like, working with the algorithm while also still staying true to yourself and, like, making things just for you and, like, for the right reason. But if you can find, like, a good balance between that, you're set.
And this transitions well into pressure and responsibility and a little bit of stress that you sort of unknowingly pick up on over time, and it really caught me by surprise. So when I first started my channel, it was just my friends watching, my family, and then a couple of people online who, you know, randomly stumbled upon my videos. And for the first couple of months, I didn't even have 1,000 subscribers. Just a couple hundred people, and maybe I'd get 100, 200, 300 views if I got lucky on my video. And it felt like a very small community, and it felt like I knew everyone who's watching my videos. And yeah, I didn't feel any pressure, because it was small. But if you fast forward to now, I have over 250,000 people in my audience, which is larger than the city I live in and larger than the cities around me, which is just incredibly weird and hard to fathom because I'm 17 years old and my audience is just this massive group of people, which is really hard to try to understand what that means at my age. I have 12 million views on my channel now, but I can't even conceptualize that. I don't know what it means. It just looks like a number on a screen at this point. Anyways, back to my point, the larger my audience got, the more pressure I felt and responsibility to start putting out better videos or to touch upon certain topics or to say certain things, to act a certain way. And just the more eyes you have on you, the more pressure there is. It's like if you have to give a speech to one person you know, that's fine. It's not really that stressful, especially if it's someone you know. And that's what it feels like when you start your channel in the beginning. You're giving a small speech to your friends and family. That's not really that nerve-wracking. But if you're giving a speech to, I don't know, 100, 200,000 people, you're probably gonna be freaking out and sweating, and it's just a huge difference. And at only 17, my mind is nowhere close to even being fully developed. My ideas are still from the mind of a high schooler. I'm not even in college yet. And yeah, it feels like an enormous amount of responsibility to be mindful of what I'm saying, what I'm doing, how I'm acting, to just be shown to so many people around the world where, to be honest, I do have an influence over to a certain degree, and I really have to be aware of that and conscious of that. But at the same time, that is kind of stressful and puts a lot of pressure on me that I'm not used to feeling, and I don't know what to do about that or how to feel about that. And that takes me to where I am today, which is what I like to think of stage 3 of everything. When you've gone through the first stage of struggling and not knowing, and you've gone through the highs and lows of creating. Now I feel like I'm getting older, and it's almost been 2 years on the platform, and sort of hitting that phase where it's like everything you've wanted to do, you've done, and you've done more, and you feel so incredibly grateful for everything, but you also feel stagnated just because I'm just so content with where I'm at now. And I think I'm really struggling between knowing how much opportunity there is for me on this platform and to share my message and my voice and things I just want to talk about. And I think I just have this incredible opportunity and audience, and it feels really, really, really cool. And I'm so fortunate for that. But at the same time, again, there is that responsibility and pressure to keep on making better videos. And I feel like I'm entering into a little bit of perfectionism where I'm worried about, will this video be as good as the last one? And I think that's where I've gotten caught up recently, when in reality I know it really doesn't matter. But when you think that there's going to be tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands of people watching your videos, that is a pretty freaky thing to wrap your mind around. Everything is just amplified to a degree because my videos reflect who I am, how I think, and to have that many eyes on that is stressful. If I'm being honest, it's a lot, and the last month it's just been hard for me to start because it feels like such a grueling task to spend 30 hours filming, planning, editing a video that I want to represent me in the perfect way possible, but I know I can't perfectly do it, so I haven't even started. So that's where I'm at now, and I think it's just the pressure that I know I got really lucky, right? I have the most desired profession for kids in America right now, and it feels incredible, and I've gotten everything I've ever wanted and more. But I also know that there's more out there, and that you can always do more, and you can always help more people and share more ideas and do this and do that. And I think it's me trying to figure out a healthy way to break out of stage 2, which is sort of going between the really high highs and the low lows, and to break out of not always thinking about YouTube, and to be able to enjoy hanging out with your friends and family. And I know it might sound very privileged saying that, but this is just genuinely how it feels and what I've experienced. Yeah, I think that covers the 3 stages and what it's felt like. But now I want to take the time to talk about maybe some other things that don't really follow that storyline or path or stages, but that I think are just genuinely interesting, and what I wish I could have known, or what I probably would have thought would be really interesting to know before I started my channel and I was thinking about starting my channel. Yeah, here we go. So actually, before I sort of touch upon the more interesting sort of short subjects, I'd like to just say first off that everything I've done or where I'm at now was completely worth it, and one of the best decisions of my life was to take that leap and to start my YouTube channel and to just throw everything I had at it with just a complete confidence and belief in myself that I could make it, and I could create an audience, and I could create a community that is doing incredible things in this world. But I also just want to be transparent, and that's why I'm creating this video, is to show that, yeah, I struggle with mental health sometimes, and sometimes I get very overwhelmed and feel like I can't do anything, or sometimes I stay up too late, or sometimes my habits get out of whack, and that I'm not this crazy figure or celebrity that is any different than you are. And where I'm trying to go with this is that where I'm at now is incredible, and I'm so fortunate, but at the same time, what I really want to reiterate is that it doesn't mean that I'm any happier than you are. What I wish I had done looking back is tried to be more present in my life in those moments and not live so much in the future of my goals. And I think I wish I would have documented more of my process and what I was thinking back then, because now that I am where I'm at, I feel like I'm just a very different person from where I was, and I wish I could have looked back into the mind of young Max and what I was thinking and doing back then, and just what was going through my head, because I honestly feel like my mental space has just completely changed. So I'd say to you watching this to go after your dreams, chase it, work hard, but also document how you're feeling, what you're thinking, because when you do make it and you find whatever you were looking for or chasing after, one day you'll want to be able to look back upon all of that.